Well, guten Morgen, mes amis. This is Data. Data. Thank you. I've been getting some more views now. I'm not monetized, and I don't do this. Hey, subscribe. If you want to subscribe, I think that should be on the. If you find something of interest in my videos, this is just how Dita is. So I'm not one of those people. I don't like watching commercials. That's just me. So anyway, we're going to talk today about strings. This is a beautiful topic, and I have to thank USMC. Sorry, that just I remember retired for asking me about string gauges, and thank you for your Thank you for giving me this idea. I do read my comments, you see. And I said, even if they are negative, if they make sense, I'll put them up there. If you want to throw rotten eggs at me, you have to find out where I live. So good luck with that. Here, strings, you get into real, lots of guitars. I love this. So thank you so much for suggesting this, because guitarists will swear by this. This is as much as luthiers, like the unknown luthiers I talk about. Don't get me wrong, luthiers, I love you guys, but you know, we get into even Dita. I look at some of my old videos and go, man, what was I on that day? I was really going off here on this or that. You know, it's just that's what happens when you're spontaneous, right? So. You know, you have people, I swear by Dean Markley strings. It's just a funny story. You know, if you don't like stories, don't watch my channel, because you know with Dita, you're always going to get a story, okay? I was in, this was when I think the day I bought my Boucher in the 12th fret. And, you know, there are some well-known, semi-famous Canadians go there. And there was I think, really, I forget her name, Nora something. Nora Jones. A really nice singer who plays a little acoustic guitar, and I recognize who she is. I didn't talk to her. I'm not a fame hound, but you know, we were looking at some stuff, and we were at the checkout, and we were buying strings, and I was buying Daddy Ario strings, and she was buying Daddy Ario strings, and there were these two, you know. At that time, I was like 15 years ago, something. And these two guys that were going, yeah, we play in drop D tuning, and it's the best tuning. There's no better tuning. Okay, well, that's, again, opinions, right? And they have to beat Dean Markley strings, because they are the best. And they were in front of us, so they checked, and I kind of chuckled, and Nora kind of chuckled, and we were a few feet apart, and I go, gee, I've never had any issue with the Daddy Ario strings, and I've used Dean Markley's too. She said, yeah, well, to each their own, right? So that's the preface here. So anyway, USMC, retired. I think I told you, you asked, before, when I first started out, I got a big guy, kind of strong, so, and I was a bass player and a rhythm guitar player in the bands when I was younger. So, you know, I developed pretty much a harsh attack. So before I started putting pickups in my guitars, I used to use medium gauge strings, or even sometimes heavy gauge strings, right? Because I used to pound on it a bit with a pick. Now, since I have decent pickups, and I'm mostly retired, you know, I like to play through my amps, because I like to use my fingers more, and sometimes, you know, you just put it in a 2 or 3 or condenser mic, and you know, you don't have to attack the guitar. So I now use mostly lighter gauge strings on my acoustics, and I think I replied to you and I said EJ 15s or 16s, but my go-to on I always try different strings, but my go-to on my guitars with low action, because I have some with low action, some with medium action, or medium low action. I usually use I love the phosphor bronze from Daddy Ario. And these are the custom light gauge, which is 0.0011 to 0.052. I would say phosphor bronze Daddy Arios are my favorite acoustic string. I've used Martin strings, I've used Dean Markley, nothing wrong with them. On one guitar, I'll do a video of it later. I actually have some Martin. I fluctuate between Martin and Daddy Ario. Silk and steel. They have a softer sound, more like a classical type sound. So the custom light gauge, which might be EJ 14s, 15s, 16s. I think that's the higher the number. The higher the number in the EJ series, I think the higher the gauge. So my favorite acoustic string. So when it comes to but I encourage you to try other strings. But I'm not an expert on strings. But Daddy Ario, which is in Farmingham, I think, Long Island, New York. Hey, Luigi, are you guys still there on Long Island? Okay. Dita has a special guest. He flew in from New York. And he will talk to you on the Daddy Ario string. So just bear with me. We'll get him over here, okay? All right?
Thanks for having me on the show, Dita. This is Luigi Daddy Ario. My family is originally from Italy. We've been making strings for string instruments for hundreds of years. Hundreds of years. All lots of the cellos and the symphony orchestras, violas, violins, double basses. A lot of them have the Daddy Ario strings. And I'm going to tell you why I think our strings are so good. Now, you know, there's a country north of where my family's originally from. Okay, it's called Germany. And there's a company there called Continental. They make really good tires. And you know, Germans are fussy about shit. They're fussy about their steel. So this is why I think my strings are superior. Because the German Continental Tire Company, they use this really, really good quality steel for their steel belted radial tires. And so I have all my own equipment that my family has devised, and we're still in New York, good American-made stuff. So yeah, use my strings, but my hex wrap. Okay, you know what a hex is, right? 6 sides. Hex 6. Hex 666. We'll get into that later. But what I'm telling you is this. That's the best steel you can get. We buy it in big rolls from Germany. And the reason why I think my strings are superior is when our machines wrap that bronze or whatever it is around that hex steel, you see, because the hex core, my hex core strings I'm talking about, they've got this, there's a little edge, right? Like, because it's not round, and that bites into the inside of the wire we use as the wrap. And so that's why my strings last longer and sustain better. So, and you know, I make a lot of strings. Do what Dita says. Try 'em out. Try 'em out. I won't break your kneecaps, but they're good American strings. So have a good day. Ciao. For now. Adios. Arrivederci.